We're now joined by Kansas State coach Chris Klieman. Coach, welcome to the Big 12 and your thoughts about the upcoming season.
Well, thanks so much for having me. Good morning or good afternoon. It's almost noon to everybody. Excited to be here with 6 great football players that are great representation of what Kansas State football is all about, with their great leadership, servant leadership, with their great play on the field, what they do in the community as well. And I'm excited to have those guys here, and excited for you guys to get an opportunity to interview those guys and meet with them as well. I'm tremendously excited to be here and start this next chapter of my career at Kansas State. Wouldn't be here without our athletic director, Gene Taylor, who gave me the opportunity at North Dakota State 5 years ago to be the head coach there. And after 5 great years, he gave me an opportunity to come to Kansas State and be the head football coach here, with tremendous support, community, administratively, the alums, all the former players. It's been a lot of fun. I'm excited about the challenge. I know it's a big challenge this year. Learning our football team. We've only had 15 practices, so I'm trying to learn our football team as well as our coaches are. We're really looking forward to getting started on August 1st to continue to build on what we started in March with our spring practices. We have obviously a daunting schedule like everybody else does, but we all look forward to the challenge. And with the senior leadership that we have 24 seniors and a number of guys in the offense and defensive line that are seniors. I look forward to those guys leading us up front and winning in the trenches. So excited to be here, and we'll open up for questions.
Okay, we'll take questions. We'll start on the aisle halfway back, and then we'll continue in the back, and we'll come over here.
Yeah, Chris, Scott Fritchman with GoPowerCat.com. Congratulations on being here. You've had unbelievable success, and now you're here at Kansas State, and K-State's picked 9th in the Big 12 Conference. What are your impressions of that preseason poll, and what are your motivations right now as you get set to go with the Wildcats?
I appreciate it, Scott. I don't take a lot of account into preseason polls. I never have, even at previous school where we were ranked typically first. I still think it's about attacking on a daily basis and stacking good days upon good days throughout the month of August to get yourself in a great position to start your campaign at the end of August. And I know our guys are hungry. I know that a number of guys, and there's a bunch of them that are returning from last year, felt that they probably left a couple of games out there, maybe left a couple of plays out there, and having the hunger that those guys, I see in their eyes, I look forward to getting started and not really worrying about where the rankings are.
We have a question on the left, about 3 rows back.
Ian Boyd from Inside Texas. At North Dakota State, you were able to control the game up front against power teams like Iowa or spread teams like Eastern Washington. But how do you build a dominant line at Kansas State, and how do you find the players that allowed you at North Dakota State to have the biggest, strongest guys on the field?
Well, it's no different. It's development. It's getting big, long, lean guys and getting them into your program and getting them into a great strength program. Chris Dawson does a phenomenal job with our athletes, and I think that's in general what the best programs do, is they develop the current guys that they have on campus, and you go out and try to find those guys that not only fit your scheme offensively and defensively, but fit your profile or culture as far as the work ethic, the character, the competitive fire. There's a lot of guys that have been 4- or 5-star guys that haven't panned out. There's been some guys that didn't have any stars that are phenomenal football players because they have that burning desire to compete, and that's what we're looking for, and we've got to develop those guys.
We got a question on the right side, halfway back.
Hey, Chris, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. By all accounts, you've really connected with the K-State people, fans and alums and that sort of thing. Have you done some things intentionally to try to do that, or why do you think that's been something that's started to happen in Manhattan?
Well, thanks, Jenny. It's just, I believe who I am. I'm a people person. I'm a relationship guy. I want to show our brand. We have an unbelievable brand at Kansas State, and Kenny Lanou and his crew have done a phenomenal job of getting our brand out there on social media. And I know that all of our fans, we have a great fan base, and they want to know what's going on with the coaches. They want to know what's going on with the players. They want to know what's going on at a workout or at a paintball that we went to or wherever it may be. And I think those are the fun things that our fans really appreciate.
We have a question all the way to the back.
Hi, Chris. RJ Young, Sports Animal Tulsa, 247 Sports. With respect with recruiting to Kansas State, I understand that some 4- and 5-star guys don't pan out, but I do believe those are the kind of guys that most people would want to get. What is it that you try to tell those guys when they are looking in Kansas State's direction?
Well, it's pretty simple. Do you want to play in a style of offense where we're going to get the playmakers the football, and you're going to have an opportunity to play at the next level and an opportunity to play early? I think that's still the number one sell is a young man can play early. And with the transfer portal, with the early entries in drafts and stuff, you need a bunch of guys to play early, and I think having the ability to offer that to a guy that if you're good enough, you're going to have an opportunity to play. You're not going to be guaranteed anything, but if you're good enough, you're going to have the opportunity to play. I think will attract some of those guys. If you're a quarterback and you look at Carson Wentz or Easton Stick, 2 drafted guys, why wouldn't you want to come and play in this system? And so I'm excited about the direction we're going recruiting with a bunch of great coaches on our staff that go out and bust their tails.
We've got 2 questions on the aisle in the back, and then we'll come over to the other side.
Hey, Coach. Alex Hickey from the Morgantown Dominion Post. Of the 4 new coaches, you're the only one replacing the most synonymous or name in the history of the program. What are the benefits and drawbacks of that?
Well, it's one of the most synonymous names in college football history, not just at Kansas State, but anywhere. What Coach did at Kansas State was nothing short of remarkable, and I'm going to feed off that. And we have great facilities, we have a great infrastructure, we have a great culture because of what Coach did. And I know I'm not going to fill his shoes. I'm just trying to continue in his legacy, but doing it our own way. And we're going to lean on some of the former people. You know, we've got Colin Klein on our staff that I have so much respect for Colin, and I'm going to lean on him for some tradition things. But in the same respect, I'm excited about the challenge that we all face in following Coach, and I just want him to make sure that he can be proud of the product that's out on the field.
Another question all the way in the rear.
Steve Cook, Sikkim Sports. Coach Snyder ran a unique offense. How does the personnel he left match up to what you want to do?
Well, it helps that we have a bunch of old linemen back because we want to establish the ground game and get the ball in the playmakers' hands at wide receiver and stuff. But, having tight ends and fullbacks, and we have to continue to recruit the bigger bodies, the tight ends and fullbacks, because we want to be able to line up in multiple sets. And you would say, well, I still want to have great balance. We need to be able to run the football as effectively as we throw it. But the most important thing we need to be able to do is get the ball into the playmakers' hands. And it starts for us with our quarterback. And I'm excited to have Skylar Thompson, who I recruited 4 years ago and offered him a scholarship at North Dakota State. And so I was excited when I had the opportunity to meet him that I'm going to get a chance to be a part of his life and coach him. But I think the talent level is very good, and we need to continue to enhance it so that we continue to create competitive environments. That's the nature of sports is having a competitive environment so that everybody continues to improve.
We have a question all the way on the left-hand side.
Hey, Coach. Callis Robinette here with the Wichita Eagle, Kansas City Star. Most of the guys you brought here today play on the D-line. What has most impressed you with that group, and is it fair to say that's one of the strengths of your roster right now?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the strengths, and all three of those guys on the defensive line, I thought really did a phenomenal job of leading throughout winter conditioning and spring football, and I made an effort to try to have some one-on-one conversations with those guys, but I think if you're going to be successful, it's got to start up front, whether that's the offensive line or defensive line. It has to start up front so that you have the opportunity not to get pushed off the football. And all three of those guys have played an awful lot of football at Kansas State, and I think their best football is still in front of them.
We got time for one more question for Coach. Who's got the last question? Well, Coach, they let you off easy.
And that's great.
Best of luck for the season.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.